All right, our friend over at the SEC Network, Gene Chizik, with this to say about the Dogs. You will see a very focused football team when they come out for the college football playoff. Talking about the Georgia Bulldogs getting ready for Michigan. Dean Legge from Dog Post getting you ready for this Orange Bowl down in South Florida. And time will tell, right? Everybody the other day on Wednesday, N'Kobe Dean, James Cook, etc., they said all the right things. And the question is if they can deliver like they have the bulk of the season. And I don't know the answer to that yet. Georgia comes into this game as an 8-point favorite to beat the Michigan Wolverines. And it's not a certainty that they win. I mean, I think that they've got a lot to prove right now. And the whole season obviously is on the line. One thing I can't remember who said it. I think it was N'Kobe was talking about how this is a one-game season. Yeah, I mean, and it's about to be over if the Dogs don't get it done in South Florida. It's going to be a real challenging game. Part of what's going on here is that Kirby's got their full attention. And a lot of people would be like, well, why didn't he have their full attention before? I don't know. That's maybe something that we could talk about in the future. And maybe he did have their full attention, and they just got beat by the better team. That stuff is so hard to figure out in the moment. And a lot of times people they want to know why. Why did this happen? Or what happened? X, Y, Z. I mean, it can be a lot of different things. But if Gene Chizik is right, you'll see a very focused football team when they come out for the college football playoff. They're not going to lose. I mean, if they're focused, these guys don't miss a step. Um, how how focused do you have to be? I don't know. And in addition to that, the other team gets to be focused as well. So it's not like there's a certainty you win just because you have your mind right coming into the game. You have to execute, which is something that did not happen against Alabama, and you have to let things go. If you get beat on a big ball, you got to let that go soon thereafter. It's an important thing. Don't get me wrong, but you have to let it go and then go play the next play. That's really easy to say. That's really easy to say. We can't know. We'll only see two practices that we know of for sure heading up to the game. And in that time, a lot of the competitive nature of practices is not happening. But these really are, I mean, the first practice, which is, Saturday, today, the way I understand it, the first practices, like the legit practices, they are the most important ones because they set the tone as far as where this team is at mentally right now. There can't be any more snafus, mispractices, or whatever. I don't know what's going on with any quarterback movement. I don't suspect that's happening. But if you're going to do that, you really have to value your time right now because there's not a lot of time unless you just straight up changed. There's not a lot of time to have a competition. I mean, if something happens in the change, my suspicion is that's going to have to be in game because of injury or because of deficit. It's going to be one of the two. They're either going to go into that thing ready to go with JT Daniels or Stetson Bennett, or something's going to happen in the game to where they need to switch the quarterback, and they will. But, Kirby said the day after the game, the Alabama game, that there was no discussion of making a switch to JT. The other thing is, now that Georgia's starting to practice, you really, I mean, and I'll do this because this is what it is, but the team can't look backward really anymore. And I don't know if they have been or not. I couldn't say, but the the mindset of the three guys that we got a chance to talk to, James Cook, N'Kobe Dean, and Lewis Seen, they all seemed in the right place. But again, time will tell. And um, I, if what Gene Chizik's saying is correct, you're going to see a real focused team when they come out for the college football playoff. A focused Georgia, I don't think can lose to Michigan. I think that would be a tough pull for the Michigan Wolverines. It's asking a lot for the type of team they are to suddenly become explosive at receiver in a way that they have not shown this season. And for the quarterback to become, I mean, Stetson's not going to become something he's not. So that's the part that's going to be hard. If Georgia's locked in, so to speak, if their eyes are on the prize, it is going to be hard to sort of outcoach your way to victory. But you don't ever know. I mean, if Michigan plays well and plays the way they did against Ohio State, and the officials let them play the way that they did with Ohio State, a lot of hands involved, um, then Georgia could be really in for a fight and have to save themselves or lose. So these are all things that are on the table. There's no certainty with any of these games. I mean, everybody at Alabama is going to have their back padded so much because they ascended at the end of the season and saved their season with one game, one 60-minute performance. Bryce Young won the Heisman. One 60-minute performance, they hoisted another SEC championship trophy. It is possible that they are the best team in college football. They have not played like it the bulk of the season. They have not. And they have won, but they have not played like it. Will Alabama be locked in the way they need to be? They were certainly locked in against Georgia, certainly for 3 quarters. But will they be locked in for the Cincinnati game where everybody's going to say there's no chance they lose? I think there's a chance they could lose for sure. I mean, the Cincinnati DBs are legit. And, Cincinnati, I've seen them. I believe in them. They've lost a game in the last 2 seasons, and it was to Georgia on the last play of the game. Okay? So Cincinnati's legit. Now, Cincinnati slopped around too. They've not played well at times. And it's going to have, it really, these head coaches are going to really have to earn their stripes this 3-4 week period. I know Kirby is a psychopath, sociopath, whatever you want to call it, both. He is going to be locked in. Michigan has not had the turnover Georgia has with Dan Lanning. They don't have questions about X, Y, and Z. Michigan's playing better than any of the 4 coming into this. Alabama has the best quarterback, probably. Georgia's probably the best overall team, and Cincinnati just hasn't lost. So these really are maybe more behemoths than we're giving them credit for being. To me, they're clearly the best 4 teams in the country. And it will come down to what happens for Georgia as they get ready to come up to Miami and play. When is James Cook going to have his explosive game? He's had 1 this season. I think he's got another one in him. When will that come? I don't know. Could it be in his hometown? We'll see. We'll see you over on the website, dogpost.com.